Hi, everybody. It's Coffee Chat, Bnow Coffee Chat with Jeannie and Cindy. This is
Yes.
where we share our personal conversations that we always have. Jeannie, you look wonderful. Is that a camisole? That's so pretty.
It is. It
I-
is. Here in Texas, we're like in between seasons. So in the morning, it's cold. So we have to put something warm on. And then this
uh-huh,
afternoon, I'll be in short sleeves, because it'll be hot.
uh-huh,
But,
uh-huh.
but that's okay.
I love camisoles because they're so feminine. Yes.
They are feminine, aren't they?
Well,
Yeah.
Jeannie, you have an amazing story that I asked you to share today. Tell us all about that miracle that happened. So
I
just
actually have two stories. And so
take it away.
uh,
I was wondering if maybe, okay, you have two stories. I'm wondering if it's the one with your back pocket where you discovered money too.
that's it. That's how it happened.
Is that the other one? Okay. Okay.
So the other one
Tell
is,
us your,
it's
tell
okay.
us,
We'll just
tell,
dive in.
okay.
So what happened was I was years ago, I was part of, I'm a unity minister. And so I was this part of this group, and we went on a retreat to a Catholic retreat center in Amarillo, Texas, which is where the Palo Duro Canyon is and all of that. And so we ended up um, we were working and on the board and stuff like that. And then one day we decided to just take a break and go out to, whatever. But before I left Dallas, I had gone to the ATM and, they give you $20 bills. So I'd gotten about $100 worth of cash. And so all I had was $20 bills. So we went out to the canyon and we did a walking meditation. Then we went to this little store and bought some stuff. My sister in Albuquerque and her husband had a scent perfume type of thing, and they were actually carrying it in this state park. So I bought something, and then we all went out to eat at this Mexican restaurant. And I had shoved two $20 bills in my back pocket. And I thought, okay, whatever I need. So I should have had, whatever, but I went to pay for my meal and I had $8. And I was like, has anyone seen a $20 bill here? And did I drop it? And everyone was looking like, no. Well, this one guy, I really didn't know him well, but he was seated beside me. And I said, look, can you just pay for my dinner? And as soon as we get back to the retreat center, I'll pay. And he went, well, sure. So anyhow, that was that. So fast forward, that was on Thursday. And then on Saturday morning, everybody was leaving because they were all going home. But I was staying one more day because I was going to speak at the Unity Church on Sunday. So I was there by myself, and you know how you do, you're packing your clothes. So I was like going through my pockets and, business cards and throwing away pieces of gum and Kleenexes and stuff like that. And I reached in the back pocket of my blue jeans and I felt something and I went, oh, great. I must have missed that $20 bill, because there it is. And I pull it out and it's $100 bill. 100. And I'm like, where in the hell did that come from? I didn't have $100. I was just like, okay. And what I realized, Cindy, is when I didn't get all crazy when I lost money, it was like, okay, God's going to provide. And if it fell on the ground, somebody else needed it. I'm good. Okay. So I was just like, oh my gosh. So I went to church and gave my talk. And I said, I want you all to hear this story. And I passed the $100 bill around. I said, it's a real $100 bill. So anyhow, everyone was like, oh, okay. So after service, this tall cowboy came up to me and he said, Jeannie, he said, I love that story. And I said, I do too. And he said, well, I got a story for you. And I said, I love stories. Tell me your story. And he said, well, he said, a couple of years ago, I went through a terrible divorce. And he said, we fought about everything. My wife got the kids. I had to move out. I'm living in this little horse trailer or something. And I finally found a little house to rent. And he said, but it's been hard. And I have to pay child support and I'm trying to take care of my bills. And he said, the other day, I got a notice from the electric company. They were going to shut off my electric. I needed $60. He said, I'd already tapped all my friends and family. They weren't talking to me about money. And he said, but I had started going to Unity and I'd learned about affirmations and giving thanks ahead of time, and he said, so I'm driving down this old Caliche road, there's barbed wire on the side. And all of a sudden I hear this whoop, 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 whoop. And he was like, really, God? Really? I do not need a tire problem. He said, something was wrong with one of the tires. So he gets out, he slams the truck door, he walks all the way around. There's nothing wrong with any of his tires. And he said, now I know that I heard a tire problem. I mean, what's going on? And he happens to look over, and stuck in the barbed wire fence, right where he was, were three $20 bills. Exactly the amount that he needed. I just love that story. When we lose faith and, we're doing our work and stuff, and, and all of a sudden God said, I got you.
You have a really good point on the way that you explain this story, because those who are not awake would call that good luck. Oh, look how lucky. No, it's not luck. It's you bringing that into your reality. Mm-hmm. Because it said that any thought that we have exists, that reality exists somewhere, because there's no such thing as time, which we humans can't even hardly understand what that means. Einstein said it. There's no such thing as time. So any thought that we have is already happening in another existence, another dimension, whatever you want to call it. But calling it into this one is where we align ourselves with the power of God, with the power of source energy, with the power in our own power. Because it's like the toaster. It won't toast until you plug it into the wall, right? And we're like the toaster trying to figure out why we can't make toast. Plug it into the wall.
And the thing in his credit had done the work. He'd gone to Unity. He started changing his thoughts, and so it was like, but here he was down to the wire. I am not going to have electricity. I need $60, and so, and that's what he was saying, when he heard that tire, and he heard it. I mean, he knew what a tire sounds like. And it was like, really, God, I've been doing all this work. I've been doing the affirmations. I've been faithful to it. And now I have a tire problem. And God said, settle it down. Look over here. I love that story.
I do too. And we can create those own stories just like that in our life.
That's right. So I've got another story. And we don't have to know.
Oh, good. Okay.
So this is so great. One, when I had my church in Dallas, and it was not a big church, but it was kind of a big building. And the guy who ended up being our president of our board of directors was this big guy. And his name was Morris, and he was Jewish. And I was like, and he was really pretty secular. He didn't know if he believed in all this woo-woo stuff, but he was serving as the president. And he had a business, but he also owned this huge smoker that he put on a trailer, and he would carry it out to places, and sell barbecue and stuff, or people would hire him and stuff. So anyhow, one day he called me and he said, Jeannie, you are not going to believe what happened. I said, what happened, Morris? And he said, I was moving the smoker. And I mean, this thing was probably 15.
Sure. Yeah. They're big.
He said, and my hand slipped and I dropped it on my foot. I went, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I said, he said, yeah, he said, my wife took me to Medical City and they x-rayed it and they saw all the bones are broken, but it's so swollen, they can't do anything. They can't set anything until the swelling goes down. And I said, well, I am so sorry. I said, Morris, I'm going to pray for you. And he's like, yeah, whatever. Okay. So a week later, I get a call from him again. And he said, Jeannie, you are not going to believe what happened. I was like, what happened? This just cracks me up. So he said, well, I was on my crutches and I was from the living room into the kitchen and I swung my foot into the door jamb and hit it. He said, I thought I was going to pass out. He said, so I had my wife take me back to Medical City. They x-rayed again and they said, well, we don't know how to tell you this because he told them what happened. And they said, the force of the hit set all of your bones. I said, really? I said, well, I told you I was going to pray for you. I didn't tell you it was going to be painless. And so he said, well, you can just stop praying for me.
Isn't that great?
God just has such a sense of humor.
Oh,
So, and you know, he in his mind, he had to wait till the swelling went down. And God said, oh no, let's just speed this up.
yeah,
Let's
let's
just
fix it now.
slam your foot into the door jamb and set those suckers.
Isn't that something?
So, I mean, in both of these stories, people didn't know how things were going to work out. They looked bleak. They looked bad. They didn't understand why they were in pain, financial pain or physical pain or whatever. But God is like, I got this. I got this. You know, and I don't know about you, but, you know, for most of my life, I've tried to micromanage everything. Okay, God, here's how I'd like for you to work this out, you know, and God said, well, that's a plan. It's not a good plan, but if you insist, you know, and I'm always sorry later. And I finally learned to surrender. It's like, my will, but thine be done. I'm not giving up, but you're going to have to handle it. I mean, you're God and you're going to have to handle it. And I'm stepping back. And, you know, it always works out, Cindy.
It always works out, Jeannie. Thank you for those stories. And thank you all for listening to us today. Jeannie and I have these beautiful conversations and decided to record them and share them with all of you. And make sure you subscribe, maybe comment, and
share with your friends.
Join us at Bnow, a beautiful network of women. Love you.
Mwah. Talk to you later.
Okay.